David Sainz. So this is my build based off of a Polish castle. As far as like where it's based off of a castle actually from a video game, Age of Empires 2. So I started with the castle, basically with the main wall here, this curved one, and then built out from there. So as far as like techniques on that, it's actually surprisingly pretty simple. There's just a lot of hinge plates that I've got connected on the inner wall as well as the outer wall, and then that lines up to this, alternating like tile effect on the outer surface on that. And that's basically just like resting on the lower base.
I love the way you curved the stairs around the keep in there as well.
Yeah, that was actually like an accident, and it worked out. I was like, oh, I didn't realize that piece would do that. So then kind of kept it there. So yeah, that was a really fun surprise on that one. I think probably one of my favorite things about the whole thing, though, is actually like these vine detailing, which is a surprisingly like simple technique. And it's really light, so it's really easy to connect onto that. As far as like the outer layout, I really wanted to do something in the snow this year. Last year I did something that was like more of like typical grass and all that, but I wanted to do like a winter scene, and then realized that would mean footprints, so that was a bit of work there. But as far as like the whole theme of it, it's kind of based off of again, going back to the video game, which me and my brothers play a lot. They have a certain unit called a winged Hussar, which was a typical like Polish cavalry unit. And so I wanted to showcase those guys kind of coming into the rescue, during the castle siege and whatnot. So,
and even the name of the build here is kind of based on that as well. You've got that great Sabaton song with the same name as well. I love it.
That's actually kind of why I decided to name it that. So, yeah, my brother had shown me that song. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to do this. So that's really what kind of solidified the theme there, as opposed to being just a general castle. So
you've got references to Age of Empires and Sabaton, two of my favorite things here. So really, it's just the whole package going on with this build.
Right. So, yeah, and then as far as other stuff to like round out like the display thing, I really wanted to have like what did look to be like a static like figure. So a lot of like the archers are like huddled behind their blinds there, and then like I tried to make it to where it looked like they were actually moving as opposed to just standing with a spear or something like that.
And I love the detail of the arrows in the snow, and even stuck into the wooden kind of shields there as well, and it just makes it feel so much action and more lifelike.
Yeah, that was a detail I really wanted to do, and my wife was actually really patient enough to paint all the shafts on those arrows.
Oh my goodness, I wondered how you got that. That's painted?
Yeah,
wow.
Because it's like a white like arrow shaft that you can get on like Brick Warriors, and she painted all of them. So, yeah, 100 of those. I owe her big for that. But
family effort here.
Right? Yeah. Oh, definitely so. Especially forfeiting like half the bedroom so I could build in there. But yeah, that, and then the other thing that took a bit of time that I was really pleased with was how I did the trees on those. I generally like to build like organic stuff, and that was a bit of a challenge trying to come up with something that was lifelike enough and still, easy to do.
So can you take us through maybe some of the techniques there?
So on these, basically, you've got like your typical plant piece, and then I just had these like curved slope pieces that I would alternate and kind of tilt inward. And so I've just got various layers of that going on. So they get smaller and smaller as they go up.
Sometimes things might fall off.
Oh yeah, they always do. But it's pretty easy to just snap back on.
And
so
just kind of clipped in there to those pieces. Yeah.
Yep. And so I've just got varying sizes on those, just alternated throughout that.
That works great. I even love kind of the ice water sections here as well. It kind of adds another element outside of just the white.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a little easier than some of the other stuff. Still a bit of a challenge trying to like build like what looked to be like a believable like, bank on that, but still fun. Bit of a Lord of the Rings reference in there because it's got that culvert there on the outer wall. I was very tempted to put like an Urukai there, but I'm like, nah, I'll save that for another build. So.
And so for all of the minifigures then, are these official LEGO minifigures? Are the weapons custom, or how did that work?
All the minifigures are official LEGO minifigures. There are a couple things here and there that are like Brick Warriors parts, like the spears, but all the figures are legit LEGO. And most of the weapons are as well. It's just a couple things, like a few of the spears, a couple of swords, and like the arrows, but most all of it is legit LEGO. So.
One of the highlights of this layout is definitely the siege equipment, which you've got a variety of that on display here, and that's fantastic, something we don't see a lot of as well. So take us through kind of each of those pieces and how those came together.
So those, again, were all inspired by Age of Empires. So the Scorpions, unfortunately, aren't functional. Oh, darn, there you went. But kind of, I built it based off of the game design so that it had like the double, like,
winch mechanism
and all that, and that it could actually like angle up if needed. I wanted to build them so they looked pretty beefy. So all of them are pretty heavy looking. The ram was one of the things that I really liked how it turned out. However, originally was intended to be motorized. Couldn't fit that in there, but we'll take the roof off that so you can see it a little bit better. But it's traditional like ram mechanism, so it has the hanging beam that you can like thrust forward, so it is functional in a sense.
No, that works fantastic. Yeah, just using those chains to hold it there.
Yep. And then the trebuchet is functional. That I won't like launch with a boulder, but because I don't think anyone else would appreciate it. But
but the viewers want to see that. You sure you don't want to launch it?
Well, I won't launch a boulder, but I mean we can release the mechanism. We'll just tilt him back and it will.
Oh, very nice. I love it.
And then yeah, it'll wind up like that. Probably like the one non brick built part is the counterweight, which is just a bunch of pennies in there, but got to have some weight to it. The onagers was again themed off of Age of Empires. They can fire, but the torsion mechanism actually causes the bricks to kind of fall apart eventually, so I just left that out there. But I did want to have one of them firing, so I was able to like built in an angle to it so it looks like it's actually slinging something and still in the kickback recoil.
You can see the rock there on the wall.
Yep. So yeah. And then as far as like the last bit on it, the horses were probably like one of my favorite details to that. I'm going to grab one so you can see it real quick. Actually, yeah, he's probably the easiest one to grab. So, as the name suggests, I actually built the winged like frame on that, which is ridiculously fragile, but still had the look to it. So, some of them actually use like the flex tube with like a paper clip through it. Others is like a copper wire. So, kind of a cheat, but it still accomplished the look to it. So, I'm going to slide him back there real quick.
It's such a fantastic looking way to design those cavalry there, and they look so imposing as they rush down onto the battlefield here, so I think that's a great element added to the build.
Yeah. It was definitely one of my favorite parts of it. Just wish I had more is the drawback, but yeah.
And then I love the attacks on the castle walls themselves, all the guys on the ladders there, and the way that you build up the crenellations and sections on the tops of the walls. They look really like beefy there.
Yeah, those definitely took a bit of time, but I really wanted to make it to where it looked like it was, a solid stone wall and whatnot. Again, a lot of like inspiration from the Age of Empires games, so I'm sure my wife's sick of hearing me talk about that, but yeah.
Do you have any idea how many pieces are in the whole layout?
I got no clue, to be honest. I didn't keep track. I'm sure more than I would care to admit.
What about number of minifigs? Any idea there?
Minifigs I do know. The green ones I have on the board roughly around 150-ish. 250-ish, something like that. I had about 270 that I was going to use, and about 20 didn't get used. The blue ones, I have probably around 150 on there, ballparkish. So had about 170 of those guys I was going to use, but then ran out of castle to put them on. So I was like, okay, we'll go with these. So, but yeah.
I mean, you got to have a ton of minifigures to create that big battle siege effect here.
Yeah, exactly. And upon completing this one now, I'm like thinking, oh, great, I gotta extend it out if I want to add more on. so yeah, but we'll see. I might choose a different castle next go around, but yeah.
Well, spectacular layout here. Thank you so much for taking us through everything. I love the snow setting is very unique. The architecture and design of the castle is great as well. So really stands out here at the show. Keep up the great work. Can't wait to see what you have in the future.
Appreciate it. Thanks.